I bow to all the seekers of truth. At the very outset, we have to understand that truth is what it is. We cannot conceptualize it. We cannot organize it. And we cannot know it at human awareness. If we had known the truth at human awareness, there would have been no problem. There would have been no second opinion. And there would have been no quarrel, no problems. And we all would have been in the realm of peace and joy. But what we see today, that we are moving towards some sort of a derailment, and we do not know where we are going. And what is the end of our civilization? These are modern times and special times where so many are aware of this kind of a destructive force working on us. And suddenly they have become alerted and they want to know what is beyond it, what is the truth. As I've already stated, that you cannot know the truth at human awareness. Of course, whatever I'm going to tell you, you have to keep an open mind about it. Like scientists, you must listen to me as if it's some sort of a hypothesis. But if I prove it, then I'm sure, as honest people, you have to accept, because it is for your benevolence, it is for the benevolence of this country, benevolence of the whole world. It's a understanding that I want you to be at, that we have to know something more about ourselves and about the whole collective problem that is today before us. So the knowledge that I am going to give you about is the knowledge of the roots. You have the knowledge of the tree. The civilization has grown like a very, very big tree, and if we do not know our roots, this civilization can be completely destroyed. In the eyes of the divine, nobody is divided like Indians, Canadians, English. They are all the same creation of the divine power. Now we talk of God, we talk of love. I was reading God is love. Now by saying that, why should people believe you? Is there God or not? Is it true or not? We have to establish it. We have to prove it. And unless until we prove it, it is not going to be accepted by the progeny. Nobody is going to take it as if some sort of a blind faith, all right, you are born in this religion, so you follow it. Whether it is Christianity, Hinduism, Islam, or anything. So we have to awaken ourselves into that new awareness by which we can know the absolute truth, and we can know that divine power which is surrounding us. All these compartments that we have made around ourselves will break, and we'll see the dawn of a new era where you will know that all of us are capable of achieving that great height of awareness. Of course, you cannot pay for it. Nowadays, there are so many in the market who are selling divine gifts. You cannot sell it. As Christians, we have to realize that Christ didn't sell anything. On the contrary, he took a big hunter to hit the people who were selling things at the gate of the temple. So those people who are selling or marketing things cannot be anywhere near divinity, because divine doesn't know money. Money is a creation of human beings. And this is where I fail to see in the West a response to Sahaja. Actually, people told me that we cannot understand anything which does not require money. We have to little bit get out of this and understand that divine cannot be purchased, cannot be sold. It is just to be enjoyed. There is a system built in within us. I don't know if they have shown, yes, it is here. Inside ourselves, there is a very beautiful system built in during our evolutionary process. One by one, gradually it was built in within us. And that is how now we have become human beings. Now there's a very little more gap that we have to cross over so that we jump into that new awareness. As they must have told you about, that there is a power within us which is called as Kundalini, and if it is awakened, it passes through 6 centers, piercing through our fontanelle bone area and gives you self-realization. Meaning, like, this instrument is here, and unless and until it is connected to the mains, it has no meaning. In the same way, we are to be connected to that force which has created us. And that has to be extremely simple, because it is so vital. Like our breathing is so important, so it is so vital, and it is absolutely free. We don't have to go and read books for that. Especially happening of this Kundalini is an extremely easy thing, and it works out very fast. And in thousands and thousands of people it has worked. And I'm sure in Canada it has to work. It is rather the desire to become a self-realized soul than anything else that is important. If you have a strong desire to be connected with that divine power by which you know absolute truth, that's all is needed, and it works so fast, because this power is the power of pure desire. All our desires that we see are not satiable in general. One desire gets satisfied, we run after another. Another desire gets satisfied, we run after another. So now there is a desire within us which, if satisfied, then we get the satisfaction that we wanted. With this awakening of the Kundalini, which has been worked out now for 18 years, because I've been working for the last 18, I should say 20 years as such, because I started my work in 1970. We have seen that people get cured of incurable diseases. How does it happen that these centers, which are the sources of energy within us, are exhausted when we use them too much, either on the left or on the right? As a result, that exhaustion causes physical, mental, emotional diseases from which we suffer. So now supposing you have any physical disease, that physical disease can be cured if energy is supplied to that part of the body. So when the Kundalini rises, this center gets nourished, which is being exhausted. And when the Kundalini is connected to the mains, all the time the energy is flowing within you, you get all right. And there are diseases which are somatic, and there are diseases which are psycho. That is, the diseases are caused by, supposing you go to a wrong guru, there will be a problem. A person who spoils your psyche. There are so many ways these days we spoil our psyches, drugs and other things that we do. It spoils the psyche, and persons start going into the habit of getting more and more dominated by those habits. So when the Kundalini rises, she brings the attention in the center, by which the left side habits are cured. And so your psychic troubles are also cured. Your habits are cured. And then there is another type of disease we have that we call as psychosomatic. These are the diseases like cancer, say AIDS, all viruses, all kinds of multiple sclerosis and all such diseases. They are also caused by the imbalance in your attention, by the imbalance in your being. So when you come into balance, these can be cured very easily, without taking any medicines, without going to any doctor, without doing anything special. The whole system is built in within you which works it out. But you have to take it up seriously, because supposing you have to go for medicine, I don't know what is the course here is, but in India if you have to do medicine, you have to put in really 14 to 15 years, precious 14, 15 years of life to get only a graduation. But for this you don't have to. Because once the Kundalini rises and you get balanced, and then you feel the joy and the peace within yourself, gradually you settle down and you become a master. You become yourself knowledgeable, because on your fingertips you start feeling the cool breeze. And you can feel it in another person. What's the matter with his chakras, or what is the problem he's facing on your fingertips. And it's all said in Quran. Imagine, Muhammad Sahib has said that at the time of resurrection, your hands will speak. Of course, the Muslims are not worried about the future part. They want to just talk about the past and they don't want to think of resurrection. Same about the Christians. Christ has said, I will send you the Holy Ghost, but they are not looking out for Holy Ghost. Same about Hinduism. In every religion, it is said that such and such time will come when you will get your self-realization. But people are not looking for that, because those who are in charge are money-oriented, and they want to mislead you by saying that if you don't do this, you are a sinner. If you don't do that, that is a sinner. But they don't give any solutions to the problem. And there is a very big solution within us, this one. And that really helps us to overcome all this ignorance which is created by vested interest. Now this Kundalini, when it rises, it, as I told you, it solves your physical, mental, emotional problems. Also, it solves your social problems, because you start understanding the relationship of other people. Like now you are sitting here and there's no light. We don't know how we relate to each other. But when there is light, we can see for ourselves how we are related, how we are treading on others' freedom, how we are behaving, and the whole thing becomes a very enlightening experience. And that enlightenment is not harsh, it's beautiful, it is love. And then you realize that you have got the power to feel like a computer the absolute truth. You can feel it on your fingertips. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with others? Now if you know how to correct it, you are all right. Not only that, but you become a powerful personality, a dynamic personality, without feeling any tension about it. Tension comes because you have imbalances. But when you are balanced, and when you are connected to the mains, and all the time the energy is flowing into you, there is no question of tensions. You have no tensions and you are in a joyous condition, because you become Self-realized means you become the truth. That is, that you are the spirit. You become the spirit. And when you become the spirit, as it is said, is a fact that is the source, first of all, of knowledge. Like a person comes, say, it's happening, I have seen many people who came from jail, have no credibility of any kind. They wear some sort of a funny dress, appear in the square, and people just start calling him a guru. And such a guru starts minting money out of you, and headlong people go towards that person and think it is a very big thing. Another one comes and says that I am such and such and I have these powers and that power. You just believe into that person, pay him money and get lost. Like these, there are no norms to find out what is the truth, what is not the truth. But of course, you can find out one thing, that a person who takes money, how can he be related to God? How can he be related to divine? Anything that works on money cannot be relationship with God. Of course, now for example, this hall has to be, say, hired. All right, the Canadian Sajogis, we have many, have hired it. Formerly, in the beginning, I used to hire them. But now they are hiring it. That's a different point. But for self-realization, you cannot pay. That happening is absolutely a living process of our evolution. And this evolution that we are at a human level, we haven't paid anything. So why should we pay for anything that is beyond this? It's a living process of a living energy of a living God. So one has to understand, first of all, that at a very ordinary level also, that you cannot pay for God. You cannot pay for divine. You cannot purchase it. And the second is, you cannot put in an effort. It is an effortless happening. Just like sprouting of a seed, it is an effortless happening which takes place, and when it takes place, then you just know yourself. You certify yourself. You don't have to have others to certify that this is this, this is that. And you don't take false certificate. For example, somebody might say, all right, I am born again. By taking such a certificate, you do not become. It's not that any organization can give you a certificate. It's a state of being. You have to be in that state only. Honestly, you have to be that. Otherwise, just to say that I am such and such is cheating yourself. What's the use? It's not going to help you. It's not going to help others. So first of all, you must understand that it is the becoming that is important. It is not what people are saying about themselves, talking about themselves. Like there are some people the other day I met who were selling lots of Gita. I asked, what's the use of reading Gita? It's all bookish knowledge. To read Gita also you have to have self-realization. Then I met some people who are selling Bible. Now we have been selling Bible for ages. What's the use? To read Bible also, to understand Christ also, you have to have self-realization. Otherwise you cannot understand what he's saying. And all of them have said one thing, that you must have your second birth. You are to be born again. But that again, one can use it as a placard saying we are born again. So we should not cheat ourselves. What's the use of cheating ourselves? Tomorrow some disease comes in, some trouble comes in. Tomorrow our children take to drugs or do something wrong. They go and murder people, all kinds of violence. Then who is responsible? We, because we have avoided to know about the truth. And it is all there, built in within us. It's just there, which we have to have. So now the first quality of the spirit is that you become knowledgeable. Knowledgeable about anything. For example, somebody says there is no God. Say in Russia I went, of course Russians are somehow or other, I don't know, the government may be horrible, but the people are really, their attention is so good that they just touched it. And thousands, you won't believe that in Moscow I never had less than 14,000 people. Or in Leningrad, same thing. In Kiev I had nothing less than 5,000 to 6,000 people. And the government itself took it so seriously that, they invited about 600 doctors. I read it in the paper, they have put only 300 because it may sound big, but the fact is about 600 doctors came in and 200 great scientists who have done Sputnik and all that. And they all surprisingly asked for one thing: Mother, give us realization. We want to have our self-realization. So what I feel, whatever I have read about Russian writers, is that there has been always a soul searching within themselves. If you read any one of them, you'll find there is a soul searching. And they find out, what am I doing? Is it correct? Why should I do it? What is the problem? And that soul searching within themselves is because they have no choices. Like we have here in our countries, all kinds of freedom. We waste our energy in finding out what breakfast we'll have, what lunch we'll have, what dinner we have, what sort of a blouse we should wear. I mean, such a lot of waste of energy is a joyless pursuit. While they don't have that chance. Not that they are not well off, I would say they dress up well, they have good clothes, they live well, they have all nice houses, everybody who's married gets a house. But they always felt they are not free to get to their spirit. And that's what they were struggling. As soon as they saw me, there's no place for false gurus. Nobody wants them. When I spoke to them in one of the seminars, they had yoga seminar, when I walked out, everybody came out, and there were other gurus who had come, nobody was there in the hall to talk to them. They're so keen and so alert that they know that you cannot pay for it. And there's no hanky-panky about it. Just telling stories, this will happen, that will happen. And now, in all Eastern Bloc, you'll be surprised, Sahaja Yoga is spreading very fast. Bulgaria, we had 15,000 people. 15,000 people in Bulgaria. So you can imagine, I have to also go to Romania, I have not been there, but there are. Those Sahaja Yogis who went have written to me that they got 5,000 people. Sahaja Yogis got it. So you can imagine how fast they are moving. And a day may come, they might become very powerful people than we are. We have become weak. We have become very weak internally. Externally we have money, we have good roads, good telephones, everything. But internally we are weak. Because first of all, we cannot get over our habits. Secondly, there are all kinds of negative forces working on us. And we are so vulnerable, we do not know how to fight it out. So it's better that we become the spirit to know the knowledge, to have the knowledge about what is good and what is bad. And the second thing about spirit is that when it comes into your attention, you become enlightened. In the sense there is light and you see the truth. For example, you are standing with a snake in your hand, it's all darkness, you can't see. And I tell you it's a snake, please throw it away. But you will not listen to me. You will not say, why? It's what's wrong? I mean, many people have told me, what's wrong if you are doing this? What's wrong? Till that snake bites them, they'll hold it on. So then you put on the light. As soon as you put on the light, they drop the snake by themselves. This is what I say, that you become your own guru and you follow your own understanding with the light of the spirit within you, which is your own. But this enlightened attention works. It acts. You can close your eyes and find out about anyone what's the matter with that person. And if you know how to cure that person, it can work out. You do not know how this divine power works. This all-pervading divine power is the most efficient government, the most efficient, we can call the housewife, the most efficient father, mother, everything. Anything that you need is done so beautifully that you are amazed. And so many miracles happen that you are amazed, what have I done? Why am I so much blessed? I had asked people to write about their miracles because they used to write letters after letters and I had no time to write. So I said, you write to somebody about the miracles and let him take out a book. Now the pile has gone up this way and he's lost in that pile. He says, Mother, now what am I to do? It's such a lot. So we have to know that we are special people. Human beings are like the epitome of the evolution. And that a little more is going to give you the meaning of what you are. So this enlightened attention makes you aware of your powers also, by which you can give realizations to others. You can correct them, you can cure them, and you can give them peace and joy as you have the joy. Now you see these people, they are mostly Canadians here or Americans. Now to teach one sentence of English is very easy, and to teach the whole of English also is easier. But to teach one word of Sanskrit is so difficult to the Englishman. They ruled us for 300 years, and we tried our level best to teach them some English. And whenever they would come up and speak something, we would say, what language are they speaking? We couldn't understand the language. So it is so very difficult to pronounce the Sanskrit as well as the Indian languages. But the way these people sing, in India people can't understand how they have picked up this difficult language, this difficult music, the difficult rhythm, how they have done it, and they sing. If you hear from outside, you won't believe they're Canadians who are singing. You'll think they're just Indians, some very good singers from India are singing that. How have they got it? It is because of the new dynamism they have developed in their creativity. And we have so many artists and musicians who have really, as you say, touched the roof. They have hit the roof, like in their fame, in their success, in their creativity. So you become extremely creative, but you become very humble. You're not egoistical, you do not force your things onto others, but automatically, because you are so good that you shine. There are so many artists, especially in India, musicians, who have achieved great heights with Sahaja Yoga. And it has to work out everywhere, that we should understand the essence of music and how it really suits human beings, by which you will, not for success, but it is just for expression you work out, but automatically it becomes successful. Now this is not only that I'm trying to lure you to some ideas, but what I'm trying to tell you, that within you lies all these powers. And if you have not utilized, and if you have not made use of that, and then you are unhappy, nobody can help it. It is all there which you have to have. Now the Spirit gives you the knowledge of truth. Spirit gives your attention the light. And Spirit is the source of joy. As if you were getting drowned in the waves of your thoughts and worries and problems, suddenly you find you are in a boat and you are enjoying everything. And you are seeing it. When you see your problem, you can solve it better. And there is the divine power to solve all the problems that you have. Then you learn how to swim. You can jump into the same waves which have bothered you and save other people. And so a new dynamic personality you develop, because you become collectively conscious, about which Jung has written that now human beings will become collectively conscious. It is a consciousness which is expressed in our central nervous system, by which you can feel the other. Now, my hand, this hand, if it is hurt, the another hand can feel it. The whole body feels it and tries to help. Now, who is the other? When everybody is a part and parcel of the whole, who is the other? For example, we were going to have a program here, and you'll be amazed, we have people even from Austria who just came. They had holidays, so they just came running to help the Canadian people here, that they are very few, so better run down and help them. We have people all over the world. Sahaja Yoga is working in 40 countries. And when I went to Russia, it is so gratifying to know that the first people who came to Russia to help the Russians were 25 Germans. And the Germans so gentle, so beautiful. You won't believe that their forefathers fought with that horrible fellow Hitler. No. They are so gentle, so beautiful. And when I saw them working on these Russians with such love, with such attention, with such understanding, I felt another world is there existing, which is so beautiful and so nice. in one program, I don't know how much I can tell you about him. And we have here a proper ashram where you can go. We have here people who have their programs where you can go. But their complaints are that, Mother, when you come, I don't know what happens. They come to your program all right. But after that, they never come and they get lost. I just don't know why is it so. Because you're just, what I can do today is like a sprouting of the seed. But after that, you have to grow into a tree. Unless and until you grow into the tree, is the, as the parable of Christ, that some fell on the rocky areas, some fell in the marshy areas. Like that, it should not be. It should be, it fell into areas where people prospered and became great trees. Let Canada take over. I think Americans, I'm quite disappointed. I don't know what's wrong with them. They only like falsehood. All the false gurus are prospering there, all kinds of false things they like. A lady is there, she brings a laser beam, puts some sort of a drama, and they are all attracted towards her. Can't understand. How can laser beam have anything to do with Kundalini? Kundalini doesn't understand these things. Nowhere in the ancient books written like this about Kundalini. But this lady is out of the blue, has started using all these tricks, and there are so many running after her, paying her money. She's built a big, huge amount of properties and things like that. And this is not the way to do it. While when I say I don't take money, they will immediately ask me, then what about who pays for your travel? Mostly my husband pays. No doctor has been paying. But you don't want me to pay for your salvation. Like if I go to Russia, they pay for my travel. The government pays for me. But otherwise, wherever I go, I have to pay for myself most of the time. But even then, they come to this that even when you eat your food, who pays for that? It is like this. So where they have to criticize, they do not. Where they don't have to criticize, they criticize. And headlong, thousands have gone to this TM business. Now this TM is another horrible thing that has killed so many people, has made them recluses. I have got so many patients from there who are suffering from all kinds of troubles. But people go headlong to such things, which has money, you have to pay such a lot, they don't mind. And as I belong to another life also, you must be knowing, in that life I just keep quiet listening to people and they say, oh, that guru is good, but he's very expensive. But he's quite good. He's expensive. So sort of a guru shopping is going on. We should not be stupid in life. Stupidity never pays. Never pays. We have to be alert. God has given us brains to understand, and we should not waste our precious life, this human life like this. I have to just tell you that I feel sometimes so unhappy. Even when I went to Russia and Eastern Bloc, I saw so many people getting realization and working it out. Thousands of them. We don't know how to manage. The government is giving us all the help, everything. Still we don't know how to put them up in a big, say in a stadium always we had programs. So how to manage all that big group and how to create people who will go and work it out. It's such a problem for us. But in the West I find people have no value for their life. No value at all. It's such a beautiful life just awaiting at your door. But we have no value. Waste it on useless things. I have to tell you as a mother that please be concerned about it. What's happening to our children? What's happening to our families? What's happening to our nation? This ecological problem. All these can be solved in no time once you reach that state. And we have to have more people to reach that state and to get to it. So may God bless you in this short time, whatever was possible. I have told you, I would like to also have some questions from you. But the question should be relevant. I have not come here to take any money. I have not come here to take anything from you. I am not asking for votes. I am not a politician. I have come here to give you what you have. This is your own. This is your own property, which I have come to give you, to tell you about it. So it should be relevant and sensible. And I would like to answer your questions. And then we can have the session of realization, which will take hardly 10 minutes. So please have patience with yourself. I have a lot of patience, but you must have patience. And just Ask me questions which are sensible, not aggressive. Thank you very much. Yes, please. Can you go? I think ask Karan to come here to tell me the question, or what would be better on the right hand side. इस तरफ आ जा. There's a gentleman who is raising the hand. Awaken by itself. What's it? There is nothing to be done just now. It will be all awakened just now. After that, once the Kundalini is awakened, you have to see where you are lacking in, what centers are not all right, which you will yourself know. You have to come to our programs that they have here, and you have to see for yourself what's wrong with you, and you should correct yourself. Then gradually you become the master. To give an analogy, I'll tell you like this. First you get into the car to learn driving, all right? So there is an accelerator and also there's a brake. So first you start accelerator, brake both, and you go, in every way wrong. Then gradually you start improving on it. And when you improve on it, you find it that suddenly you have become a driver. Now you can drive, you can balance both the things, left and right side. But still you are a driver. So there's the master sitting behind. Now that master is telling you, do this, go there, here, there. Suddenly, while doing all that, you become the master. And when you become the master, you see within yourself the driver, the brake, and the accelerator. And you know how to handle the whole situation. It's like this. So it is a gradual development within you, which you do it, and you have to come to our center carefully and pay some time. That's all. You have to give some time. Time is very important. But it's the most important because you have to now use it for your inner development. We have watches in the hand all the time, watching 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And what do we do with it? Where do we spend the time? Either maybe in the pub or in the ball or in maligning somebody or doing all kinds of nonsensical, destructive things. But if we have watches, it is for what? It is for us to save time for meditation. But meditation is needed only about 5-7 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening. Not much time. But you must come to the collective because it's a happening in the collective. Like supposing my nail is broken and I take it out, then the body doesn't look after it. So there is where people do not understand. And they do not come back. And then they get lost. Next program I come in, they said, Mother, you cured me all right of this thing, I was cured. But now I've got this problem. So all my life I'm curing them and all my time is wasted like that. So best thing is that you become the doctor. You become everything. Why don't you become? You all can become that. You all have that power. So you get it. So you don't have to do anything just now. You will have to, I'll just tell you how we are going to nourish our centers and we are going to get our realization. And I'm very happy to know that you are anxious to do something about it. May God bless you. Nice to see such people.
For somebody who is really sick, can she could not come here? Can she help? She's in the hospital.
For somebody who is not here and who's really sick, can you help her?
I can, but main thing is, you see, that such a person you can help. First of all, you get all right. You know all about it and then you can go and help that person. Because the best thing is that your knowledge will improve as you help that person. Gradually, it's very practical and it all helps. All right?
Any more questions? Yes. The question is, that you talked about our habits and weaknesses and how to overcome that. Can you talk a little bit more about it?
Can you give my fan from my purse?
Purse is right here.
You see, we are weak because we are ignorant, first of all. As I told you, we are holding a snake and there's darkness. And in that darkness, we don't see that this is going to bite us. But when you become enlightened, you become a very powerful, dynamic person. Absolutely. And you separate yourself from your habits. You see it very clearly. Then you don't talk that I have this habit or that habit. You don't say like that. Like a person would come and say, Mother, you know my agya is catching, this chakra is catching. That means I have too much ego. But they don't say I have ego. I mean, if you tell somebody you have ego, they'll hit you hard, isn't it? But if a person gets it, he feels it. And he says, Mother, I have too much problem with the agya chakra, so please clear it out. So, if you have any habit, say supposing there are people who used to take drugs. In the beginning, I had horrible people in England, about 7 of them, all drug addicts and things. Of course, very well educated professors and things, but all drug addicts, hippies, and violent people, really. When they came to me, it was not easy to handle them. But they are today the foundation of Sahaja Yoga. Wonderful people they are. Now, what happened? They said, we want to get rid of it, but we can't. We just can't help it. But you'll be amazed, overnight they give up. Overnight. Just it happens. Because you see the light and you throw the snake. Just happens. You don't have to think about it, just happens. I never tell them these 10 commandments. Don't do this, don't do that. Don't tell them. Just it works from within. Why should I tell them? Why should I give them a lecture? There's no need. They themselves become their own masters, and the mastery is that the master cures and gives you powers. You develop that dignity. It's remarkable what happens. To me, it's not a surprise because I know what you are. You are so glorious. It's like you take a small little, say, a television to a remote corner of India and in some village and show them and say that here is a place, this box will show you all the kinds of music and all kinds of dramas and plays. They'll say, what? This box? How is it going to work? And you put it through the mains and it starts working. And they say, it's fantastic. It's like that. We are fantastic. We are glorious. But we have yet to be connected. That's all. It just happens. You don't have to force yourself. You don't have to do anything. It just works. The inner force works it out. Anything else?
And
such nice people have come today. I'm very happy. They're asking such nice questions. Really wonderful. But you must promise that you all will prosper in a proper way and work it out. Because it's a waste then, I feel. I was so enamored by the Russians and the Eastern Bloc people. Because not that they only come to my lecture, not that they only listen to me, but they work it out. And they are moving everywhere. Now people have moved to Siberia and all these far-fetched places. They have taken the whole map. They brought the whole map before me and said, Mother, now tell us where should we go. They have gone all out. So you must understand the importance of it. It's not just like going to one lecture or to another lecture. This is one thing you have to promise in your heart, that Mother, we'll all become great trees. You have such great trees here. God has created such beautiful thing here. And why not in Canada we should have some great personalities, great saints. Now, any other question?
Yes, in the middle.
I understand that the virtue of realization and afterwards be part of the other lectures or read the other side but what if you don't live somewhere or there's already an organization?
She's saying that in order to develop realization, if you're not living somewhere close to where there's a center, then what do we do?
There's no need to depend on me. We have people here who are experts, who have really become masters. And they will definitely help you. So it doesn't matter. I'm always with you. Whenever you think of me, you will know I'm with you. And you can always write to me. There's nothing to feel that I'm away from you. That maybe that is the reason people don't go further with it. But as you trust me, you trust yourself. You must trust yourself. You must have faith in yourself that you are quite capable and you can do it. You can do it. And that there are people who will help you. They're very humble, sweet, beautiful people. You like them. And they'll all help you till you become perfect. Such love. Same thing. Children are the best. Children are the best for Sahaja Yoga. They take to Sahaja Yoga in no time. Most of the children these days are born realized. And we have to just understand them. So many children are born realized. Children are the best to understand Sahaja Yoga, to work it out. And they just, of a very high level, I should say. Like the other day, there was a child who was receiving a phone. He said, "Oh, it's all right. You are not a yogi. Put down the phone." So I said, "How do you know?" "Mother, he had no vibrations. How could I know? Why should I talk to him? Let it be." I put down the phone.
Mother, is it the symbol of your photograph that gives the vibrations, the willpower that one puts into it, or is it truly the emanations coming from the photograph that...
It's true. My photograph luckily has some sort of a coefficient that it emits vibrations. I would like anybody else's photograph if it does, because it's a good idea. But I don't think there's anyone like that, because none of the incarnations and none of the saints were photographed. It's very surprising. Nobody was photographed at the most, and also nobody was portrayed in their lifetime. Because you know what happened to all the saints and to all the incarnations when they lived. Everybody was after their lives. No question of having so many people. Even Christ had hardly 12 people. And how they tortured his life. And actually, if you see his public life, he lived hardly for 3.5 years. And they crucified him. So this is what the world was. It's not so bad now. Nobody's going to crucify me. But still there were no photographs. So the modern times has another advantage, that they have photographs. And they will show you lots of beautiful photographs and things which will stun you. But that will be later on, you can see. But even this is such an advantage that I can talk to so many people. And aeroplane is such an advantage that I can travel all over the world. Everything is such an advantage today. The communications have improved so much that I could come to Canada. Can you imagine Christ coming to Canada? So, see, the whole advantage is there. And in Russia, I have given realization to people on television. But they are extremely sensitive people. Extremely sensitive. In the program when we had the scientist, one of the scientists got up and said, "But Mother, please tell us how you cure people when they only attend your program and when there are so many." I said, "I don't know if I have cured people then there. But they are so sensitive. Their spirituality is just there. It touches so fast. We can say that they are very, very ultra-modern sensitive instruments. Just touch them and it works. It's rather surprising. Their attention is so good. So that's what it is. It works. But if they can get it, you can get it. You can do it. But also another problem in the West is that we are very guilty people for nothing at all. We are extremely, one side we are destroying ourselves, that's one way, and another is all the time we feel, I've done this wrong, I've done that wrong, sorry. English language is full of it. So we all the time start feeling sorry. There's no need to feel all that guilt and sin and all these nonsensical ideas. That really spoils the game for me also. I have seen Americans are the worst. They're guilty for this, they're guilty for that. What is there to be guilty after all? You are human beings, and if you have done any mistakes, doesn't matter. After all, you're not gods. So what? If you have done mistakes, all right, forget it. Forget the past. But this is also another problem of the West is, now their forefathers, say, came here and killed some Red Indians. Now the forefathers are finished. They might have become Red Indians in this lifetime. They are not there. You are their children's children. Now why are you carrying on the joke so far? But for everything they feel guilty is another such a mental nonsense that please, before I start this program, I have to request you that don't feel guilty for anything. You have done nothing wrong. Also, there's another 2-3 people.
Could you say that again?
If Gorbachev is still walking,
Gorbachev. क्या पूछा उन्होंने? क्या कह रहे हैं? What's it?
Walking away, go from somewhere else. She wants to know if Gorbachev is a walk-in, which means that is he from some other place which is the advanced soul?
He's a realized soul, no doubt. He is. That's why it's working out. He knows me very well. He is a realized. That you have recognized him. I'm very happy to know that. He is. And look at them. How lucky they are to have him there. And he's a very sensible man, no doubt. He's a even Lenin was. Lenin was a realized soul. You'll be surprised. But he was forced by all his party members. He was alone, you see. And all of them forced him to take a course of line which was really proved later on. But whatever his state talked about, the stateless state and all that, was his dream, and that's coming true. He was also a realized soul. But he went on to a wrong line, and it took so much time for them to come back. And they had horrible, despotic people, no doubt. But the way the Gorbachev is doing, I mean, he's great. And I have a rapport with him, and he's a very great man, I must say, and he has tremendous respect for me. Because we are of the same style, we have the same line. That's why. You too had, in America, you had, say, Abraham Lincoln, was a realized soul, no doubt. And we had Mahatma Gandhi. We had many people, but they were singled out. They couldn't give realizations to others. They were singled out, and they had to fight. But now you all can become realized souls. We have to have many more to get peace, to get joy, to get what we deserve. Yes.
A little while ago you mentioned that there are certain kinds of disease like AIDS and cancer and all those, and then there are others which doctors cannot diagnose, and you suffer from this. So would you say that this is due to some blockade of your energy, or how would you yourself figure out? Because I personally am going through some kind of a problem, and none of the doctors can diagnose.
Yeah, that's true. I am myself a doctor. I've done medicine myself. I know that. It's difficult for them because they cannot raise the Kundalini. You see, that's the problem. Please sit down. I'll tell you. The medical science is, of course, has reached quite a lot of height and have understood anything. But the problem with the medical line is this, that when a tree is sick, you see, we treat the leaves, but we cannot get to the roots. But Sahaja Yoga is a thing that gets to the root, and I'm not telling you offhand. You see, there are 3 doctors who got their PhD in India in Sahaja Yoga, that they have cured people, and there are 7 doctors in London who are now writing down about how many people have been cured with Sahaja Yoga. But the problem is like this, not for in America, I cannot cure people because I'll be arrested. Even if Christ goes there, he'll be arrested. The medical science doesn't allow that anybody should cure anyone. Now the problem is, if you come to India, nobody is allowed to come to India who suffers with AIDS and all these diseases. Big problem for the patients also. Even in England, you see, if we cannot say that we can cure them, lots of problems with the law. And we cannot. But only thing, those who get cured, automatically, like we have people who are Sahaja Yogis, who had diseases, they have got their papers, everything, and then they are cured, then we note it down. India is the only place where I can start this curing business. But to be very frank, we are not in this business. We are not in the business of curing. What we are doing is to raise your Kundalini, by which you get cured as a byproduct. We are not doing curing. That's not our job. That's not what we do. And also I must tell you, the divinity has common sense. Common sense in the sense that now these lights are here. We know that particular bulb is not going to work. So nobody wants to cure. The divine doesn't want to cure people who are not going to give lights, who are not going to get to Sahaja Yoga. Means their Kundalini doesn't rise. If their Kundalini doesn't rise, then how can we cure? That's the only way we can cure people. So there are limitations also, that your Kundalini has to rise and then you can get cured. But there are many miracles which have happened. I don't know how people got cured. And there have been many cures, no doubt. And it sounds very much fantastic that it can be cured through Kundalini awakening. But it has happened. We have to accept the truth. As long as it helps us, what does it matter? Yes, please.
What would be the effect on a large group of people, or our country perhaps, with an increasing number of Sahaja Yogis on the economic system and on the way people earn their living and so forth?
What will be the effect of increasing number of Sahaja Yogis on the economic system and the lifestyle of the country where the increase in Sahaja Yogis take place?
Oh, it's just triggers everything. For example, now what are our problems? If you see the economic problems of this country is, I have understood it so well, that we have so much of, ores and all other things like silver we have here and gold and all kinds of things we have. And the one who's exploiting us are our Americans. And nobody sees the point. Nobody sees the point. While those who will get Sahaja Yogis, they'll become so dynamic. They'll put in their own industries here. Why make cars in America? Why not make them here? So many things can happen because you become so dynamic. And there's so many people to help you all over that this is what should happen. After all, you have all kinds of things available here. Why should you send your aluminium to America to be drawn into wires and beaten into sheets? There's no need. We can do it ourselves. So this is self-confidence that we can do it together. And the collective feeling can give you such good ideas. Then another point is that the way we are working out machines now. Now we have to understand that machines are for us. We have created machines. And machines are to be used according to our need. And we are not for machines. They are not to dominate us. So as much as we need, we'll use machines. Otherwise, we'll not use machines. And as a result, already it is happening that people don't like machine-made things and machine-made these things. So they will go to the balancing state, where they will take to more handmade things and handmade material. Now for a handmade things, you don't have to have so many. Like now we say in India, thank God we are quite poor country, we can't afford to have so many machines. Thank God for that, because now in a household they will have about, say, 10 plates of brass or 12 plates of brass. Finished. We don't have to have so many crockery, cutlery, this, that breaks. Then if after that you have plastic, because it breaks to have plastics. So you go on, and the plastic is now mounting up. Mountains after mountains we have created. So you take more to practical side, very much practical, and more to the natural. And in natural, it's nice to have one natural thing than to have 10 plastics. Now people are realizing, I'm not saying they are not realizing it, but still there are machines sitting on top of us. And then the entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs are very clever. Today they start one fashion, tomorrow another fashion, third day, third fashion. England is another one which suffers a lot. For example, in a place like London, which is such a cold place, people have pants which have holes in it. They call it holy pants. And now imagine, they developed varicose veins with that. Or they'll have tight pants. Sometimes they have to do something about it. They have to feed their machines. So they'll start this fashion or that fashion. Now there's another fashion which is also very dangerous, that people don't put any oil in their hair. Before taking a head bath, one can put easily some oil, or before night they can put it. They are all getting bald. Once they get bald, then they sell their wigs. The same hair which have fallen off, they make wigs and sell it. They are befooling. If you see little bit, you stand out and see how they are befooling us, these entrepreneurs. This is the fashion today, that is the fashion. I was seeing the children, we are now producing clothes for children, for example. The clothes are such horrible clothes. I mean, they call them, what called clothes? Kya kehte hain aajkal ke kapdon ko? Trendy clothes. Of the children wear trendy clothes. They have no respect for themselves. They don't respect themselves. If you give them trendy clothes, you see, they become like brats, and then you say they are brats. You make them brats from very childhood. You want them to be brats, you see. So the whole system changes. Children become so beautiful, so dignified. Dress makes a person understand what his personality is, isn't it? If you are just sort of careless about everything, you are not bothered, and the way I have seen also children and even grown-ups walk as if you see it doesn't matter how you walk, you throw your legs this side, hands like that. That shows the personality, that this personality has no sense of dignity, how it has to walk, how they have to talk and things. So the whole thing has come down. Now, for example, English language now, I never studied English language. But when I went to England, I was surprised the kind of English they are speaking. And you don't know what sort of English they are speaking. And it really is impossible. At least in Canada, people speak better English, I tell you. But you will have a language problem, really, because even people from Cambridge, they have developed such funny intonations and funny pronunciations that impossible to cope with them. So this is what I'm trying to tell you, that once you get this balance, once you get this knowledge, you develop a balanced economy, you develop a balanced ecology, you develop everything in balance, because all these imbalances has come through human beings. What is the source? Is a human being. You see, in the jungle if you go, there's no imbalance. Only in where human beings live, there's imbalances. So once you get into balance, when you have more Sahajogis, there will be more balance, and you'll be surprised how things will work out. And above all, there is this divine power, which is going to help you. Now what do you want again?
Can you meditate now?
Huh?
I think that's the question we've been waiting for. She says, can we meditate now?
Now I hope you have finished with your questions. Because if you finish with your questions, it's better. Because this mind, is a funny thing. Suddenly you are meditating, suddenly a thing will come. Oh, I should have asked this question to Mother. But as she says, it's true. That even if I answer all your questions, it's a mental acrobat. I can answer all your questions very well. I'm good at it. But it is not going to raise your kundalini. So no question is better that You just see that what happens, because it's happening within yourself. It takes you without thinking about it. It takes you beyond the state where you become thoughtlessly aware. You are aware, but the thoughts absolutely subside. And then ultimately you feel a cool breeze coming out of your head, and you feel cool breeze all around you. This is what has to happen, and I am very happy she has pointed out that they are all waiting for it, and there's no end to these talks and things. So if you have any questions, you may write to me, or you may give me in writing. If you feel that it is such an important question, then of course these people will definitely try to give you an answer for that. Now I think in thousands my lectures are there and the tapes are available, but we do not give people the lectures and the books and things, because once it starts the mental activity, they just run into that. So first of all, develop yourself internally into that abstract state, and then if you read, it has some meaning. Otherwise, there are people who know everything about Sahaja Yoga, but they can't do anything about it. Still there are 2 persons now. Now these are the last 2 persons, all right? Now what's it, madam?
When you feel the throbbing feelings, like a cross-jumping feeling,
When do you feel the throbbing feeling when the Kundalini rises, when the pulsation is there?
You see, actually, Kundalini is in this jet age, has become like a jet Kundalini. She just rises. She doesn't give you much throbbing or anything, normally I'm saying. But if you have some trouble, some diseases, something, some obstructions, then it does throb a little. But you can feel it nicely on your head. The cool breeze coming out of your fontanelle bone area, very nicely you feel it. So it is the throbbing of the Kundalini and all that are just like some sort of an obstructions or say short-circuiting. But that can be corrected very easily. So it's like a very nicely built, very efficiently built aeroplane, has a very smooth landing. Like that, Kundalini rises very beautifully. And this is the blessing of the modern times, I think, that the Kundalini works out that way. That's one more. There was one gentleman.
And the last question, there was one for that.
No, another one. That with the blue.
My question was that once you raise the Kundalini energy, if you're not able to control it, does it affect you? Can it really, from what I know, can destroy you? Is that true?
The question is that once the Kundalini is awakened, he has read that the Kundalini can be in uncontrolled fashion. If you don't know how to control it, it can harm you.
You see, these books are written by people who have no idea of Kundalini. It's not like that. You see, this is just to sell something. It's marketing. Sell anything, any nonsense. There's nothing. She is your mother. She is your individual mother who is waiting to give you your second birth. Why will she trouble you? When you got your birth, your mother looked after everything. She, poor thing, went through all the labor pains and everything. She didn't allow you to suffer anything. She never wanted you to suffer, did she? Then this is a pure mother, your own individual mother. She knows each and everything about you. It's all recorded in her. And she is not going to trouble you. And you are going to be controlled by her in such a manner that she becomes your energy. She helps you. So all these false ideas people have given, written books after books so that they can sell it. I haven't written any book so far. You'll be surprised, I have not written any book so far. 20 years have passed, I have written no book whatsoever. People have written about me, people have written about Sahaja Yoga, they have written all this, but I have not yet written. I'll be writing, I hope so, I get some time to write. But you see, what is important is that whatever is written can be all nonsense. They can write anything about anything. First of all, you should know what it is. And now I have been going to various places. I have not seen it misbehaving anywhere or doing any harm to it. Of course, sometimes you do feel little heat in the body. That's all. That's the thing. You feel little heat on your hands. That's all. But it's so little that it's negligible. So be confident. First of all, before starting, I have to tell you a few things. And one of them is that have faith in yourself. Have faith that you all are capable of getting your self-realization. Please have that faith in yourself. You have faith in everything else but in yourself. That's wrong. Please have faith in yourself. That is first point. Now there are two conditions we have to fulfill before we get a realization. First condition is, I've already told you, that not to feel guilty. Forget the past. Not to feel guilty is very important. Because when you feel guilty, then the center here on the left side catches. Vishuddhi, as they call it. And it's the worst thing that can happen. Because this is the center when it catches, you get spondylitis, you get angina, all kinds of trouble with this center. But the worst thing is that the Kundalini cannot rise above this center. So not to feel guilty. I assure you that you have done nothing wrong. You see, there are so many norms the society has created. Even if you put the fork on the other side, you start thinking, oh God, what did I do? You feel you are not sophisticated or you've done something like a murder. It's not that. It is just all these norms are artificially created. All these are artificial things. Somebody is very thin, he thinks, why should I be thin? Somebody is fat, he thinks, why should I be fat? But this is life's, whatever is there, we have to accept our life as it is. And there's nothing wrong in it, nothing guilt. Whatever is there, whatever we have been doing as human beings. So first and foremost condition is absolutely, you cannot compromise on that, is that you are not to feel guilty. Immediately you will feel better. Alright, the second one is that you have to forgive everyone. Forgive everyone. Because whether you forgive or you don't forgive, you don't do anything. We are living with a myth. All the time thinking, oh, I have to forgive this person, I have to forgive that person. There's no need to think like that. You don't also have to think about any individual. Just in general, you have to say, I forgive every one of them. And that clears out this center. Very clearly, this is the center of Christ, this clears out. And it's very easy for me because this is a very constricted, it's the gate to the limbic area, so that gate has to be widened and it has to be opened out. And so, just forgive everyone. And you know it is a myth. You are playing into the wrong hands. So this is another condition you have to just accept. Then it's easier for me to work it out and easier for you to get it. So first is, just don't feel guilty. If you don't forgive, you won't feel it. Then you will come and say, Mother, I didn't feel it, and then I will have to say, all right, forgive, and then you feel it. So what's the use? Just better do what I've told you. It's a very simple thing. Just forgive everyone in general. Then there are certain simple things that we have to take help of the Mother Earth. Now those who are sitting in the ground are the best placed. It's all right, they can just take out their shoes so they're not. It's better that their feet are a little open out. And all of you should have to take your feet. It helps a lot. Those who are sitting should sit more cross-legged. It's better to sit cross-legged. It hardly will take any time, and you don't have to fight with your thoughts. Don't have to stop any thoughts. Nothing. It just works automatically. I would say, like your attention is like this sari. Now the Kundalini rises like this, goes up, and she pushes all your attention inside, automatically. And then when it pierces through here, then the grace starts falling on your attention, on your sympathetic nervous system, and it soothes down. Then your centers open more, and more threads of Kundalini rise. So this is what is today's modern Sahaja Yoga. which somehow or other I have managed to discover, that let few threads of Kundalini rise to begin with, so that you open your chakras gradually, and then more and more, and then one day I find you all have become great gurus, great personalities. So, may God bless you all. Let us now, with all respect to ourselves, with all love for ourselves, we have to have complete faith in ourselves, complete faith. Have complete self-confidence. Now, please put both your hands like this. It is important to understand that these 5, 6 and 7 are the sympathetic nervous system endings, and this side also these are sympathetic nervous system endings, and they are the ones who are expressing the centers within ourselves. Like this, left and right meet and make one center. So it's very important that we have to put both the hands like this to begin with. You can, now somebody will show you how we are going to nourish our centers. The left side represents our desire, not the pure desire, but our desire. And the right side represents our action, power of action. So we'll be using our power of action to nourish our centers, while the left hand will be all the time towards myself. Before closing your eyes, you can also take out your spectacles, because this helps eyesight also. So, no, not now, just now when I tell to, because just now first we'll show you how to do it, and then we'll close our eyes. So somebody will show you. First of all, you put your left hand towards me like this. Of course, those who don't want to do it should go, because it is proper not to disturb others. You see, nobody should, those who do not want to do, should try to do it, because it's not proper, and should not disturb others in between to get up and walk out. So now please put your left hand towards me like this. And with the right hand, we nourish our centers. So first we put it on our heart. In the heart resides the spirit, is reflected in the spirit. Spirit is the reflection of God Almighty, and Kundalini is the reflection of the primordial power, his desire, which we call as Adishakti, or we call it as Holy Ghost. These two have to meet, and the seat of the spirit is on the fontanelle bone area here. The seat of the spirit is here, but it resides in our heart. Now, so first we put our right hand on our heart, and then we put our right hand in the upper portion of our abdomen, where is the center of our mastery. This is created by all the great masters like Abraham, Moses, Lao Tse, so many of them who were real masters. They have created this, like Guru Nanaka, Janaka, all these people have created this great center within us. Then we take down our hand in the lower portion of our abdomen on the left hand side. This is the center of pure knowledge. Pure knowledge, that is the one which gives us the awareness on our central nervous system. It manifests a new dimension in our awareness on our central nervous system, which is called in Sanskrit as Bodh, from where the word Buddha has come. Or we can say it manifests in the word Veda. Veda is from where the word Vedas have come. That you feel the divine power on your central nervous system. You feel the truth on your central nervous system, because whatever we have gained in our evolution, you feel it on our central nervous system. That is what is to know. Knowledge is not mental. It is in our evolutionary process to know on your central nervous system like hot and cold. So now, this is the center which manifests that pure knowledge. So now we take our hand again upward and put it on the center of mastery, which is on the left hand side in the upper part of our abdomen. Then we take our hand onto our heart, and here we know that spirit resides here. Then we take our hand in the corner of our neck and our shoulder here and put it back as far as possible and turn our head to our right. We turn our head to our right. This is the center which, as I have told you, is always in trouble when we feel guilty. And today also I feel it's quite a lot among the people who are here. So now, please remember not to feel guilty at all. Turn your head to your right and just not to feel guilty. It's very important. Now then we put our hand across like this on our forehead and pressing on both the temples with our small finger and our thumb on another side. We put all the other fingers on the head and put down our head like this. This is the center. This is the center for forgiving others, to forgive everyone. Now we take back this hand on the back side of our head, on the optic lobe here, on the back side of our head, and push back our head as far back as possible, resting on our hand. And here is the center, without feeling guilty, without counting your mistakes, just for your satisfaction, to ask for forgiveness from the divine power. Now, then we stretch our hand. Stretch our hand, and the center of our palm, we put it on the fontanelle bone area, which was the soft bone in our childhood. Now we put down our head and press this area nicely by pushing our fingers outward. This is a very important thing to do, is to push back your fingers outward so there's a nice pressure on your fontanelle bone area. Now here is the limbic area, the opening of the limbic area is the fontanelle bone area. So now what we do is to now slowly move our hand clockwise, pressing the scalp. Move the scalp clockwise 7 times. Push down your head. It's better that you can do it better. Move it 7 times clockwise. Now, I think everything was done all right, but we didn't push back the fingers nicely and the pressure was less, but doesn't matter now. So, you have been already told what is to be done. Now, please again see that you put both your feet away from each other because there are 2 different powers. Put your left hand towards me. Put your right hand on your head. No, not like that. You can sit. You can sit cross-legged. Cross-legged is better. Is all right. For sitting down, cross-legged is better. I'm just telling for people who are sitting on the chairs. Just imagine people getting realization sitting on chairs is something great, isn't it? Otherwise, we had to go to Himalayas and starve for so many days, work so hard, stand on your heads and still come back empty-handed. You are especially blessed to be born in this era. All right. So now we put our left hand towards me, right hand on the heart, and now we close our eyes. We don't open our eyes till I tell you. Please keep your eyes shut till I tell you. Now, the whole thing works like a divine computer. So you have to ask a question. You can call me Mother or you can call me Sri Mataji, whatever you like. Now, put your right hand on your heart and left hand towards me all the time. And now sit comfortably, not bending too much, nor in a stretched manner, but in a comfortable, straight way. Here now, you ask a question 3 times. Mother, am I the spirit? This is the truth about you, that you are the spirit. So now ask the question 3 times in your heart. Mother, am I the spirit? Now, if you are the spirit, then you are your master. So now, take your right hand in the upper portion of your abdomen and ask a question. Mother, am I my own master? Ask this question 3 times. Now I have to tell you that I cannot force pure knowledge on you. You have to ask for it. So now please take your hand in the lower portion of your abdomen on the left hand side. Here you have to say 6 times because this center has got 6 petals. So please say, Mother, please give me pure knowledge. Say this 6 times because I cannot force on you. You have to ask in your freedom. I respect it. As soon as you ask for pure knowledge, the Kundalini starts rising. So we have to nourish the upper centers so that it's easy for her to rise. So now, take your right hand in the upper portion of your abdomen on the left hand side. Press it hard. Here, you have to say with full confidence 10 times, Mother, I am my own master. Say it with full confidence in yourself. 10 times, Mother, I am my own master. Now, raise your right hand on your heart. I have already told you that spirit resides in your heart. So now here you say with full confidence 12 times, Mother, I am the spirit. We have to know this all-pervading power which has created us, which is nourishing us, which is looking after us, which organizes us, and which loves us, is the ocean of knowledge and compassion. But above all, it is the ocean of forgiveness. And we cannot commit any mistakes that cannot be dissolved by the power of this ocean of forgiveness. So now, please raise your hand in the corner of your neck and your shoulder and push it back as far as possible on the spinal cord and turn your head to your right. And here, with full confidence, please say 16 times, Mother, I am not guilty at all. Please say it 16 times. From your heart, please say it. I have already told you that whether you forgive or don't forgive, you do not do anything, it's a myth. But if you don't forgive, then you play into wrong hands and torture yourself for nothing at all. So now, please raise your right hand on your forehead across, pressing both the temples with your small finger and your thumb, and putting all the 3 fingers on top of your head. And now, put it down your head properly. Press it hard on both the sides. And here, you have to say from your heart, not how many times, Mother, I forgive everyone. From your heart, please say, Mother, I forgive everyone. Please do not say that it is difficult. It's the easiest thing to say. Put down your head properly, press it hard, and say it from your heart. Now, without feeling guilty, without counting your mistakes, just for your satisfaction, you have to ask forgiveness from the divine power. So now take your right hand on the back side of your head and push back your head as far as possible on the hand balancing. Now here, you have to say again from your heart, not how many times. O divine power, if I have done anything wrong, knowingly or unknowingly, please forgive me. This is to be said for your own satisfaction. Push back your head as much as possible. Now, the last center, which is most important. Stretch your palm as far as possible. Put the center of your palm on top of the fontanelle bone area, which was a soft bone in your childhood. Now put down your head as much as you can. Please put it down. Now stretch your fingers. Please stretch them properly and put a nice pressure on your fontanelle bone area. Here again, I respect your freedom and I cannot force self-realization on you. You have to ask for it. So now, please move your scalp slowly 7 times clockwise, saying, Mother, please give me my self-realization. Now, please take down your hands, both the hands, and please place them towards me and gradually open your eyes. Now, watch me without thinking. Now, please put your left hand towards me. Bend your head and see for yourself if there's a cool breeze coming out of your head. Please see with your right hand. Some people get it very close and some far away. But don't put your hand on top of your head. But just see for yourself if there's a cool breeze coming out of your head. Now, please put your right hand towards me and bend your head again. And see for yourself if there's a cool breeze coming out of your head. Some people get it quite far away. Now, please put again your left hand towards me. And see for yourself. Again, if there's a cool breeze coming out of your head. Now, raise both your hands towards the sky like this. Push back your head. And ask the question, Mother, is this the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost? Or, Mother, is this the all-pervading power of God's love? Or, Mother, is this the Parama Chaitanya? Any one of these questions you ask 3 times. Now, bring them down. Now put your hands down. You feel very relaxed and there won't be any thought. You can watch me without thinking. All those who have felt cool or hot breeze on their hands, on their fingertips, or out of their head, please raise both your hands. That's it. May God bless. I'm here only for tonight, and I would like to meet you all. If you want to meet me, I would like to shake hands with you. Thank you.